All right, welcome back to another Zero Downtime podcast. Today I'm here with John Hartwig. John is the owner of Utopia Grove. They're a design, 3D printing, kind of. I think you say something along the lines of, "If you can dream it, we can make it."
Yeah, yep. I like I like what I put on my most recent poster is that playful products with serious engineering.
There you go. I
Yeah,
like that.
I
That's
like that one a
nice.
lot better.
Sure. Well, before we get started, I think I'd like to start off with a comical meme. So I've got one
Right?
today. It's what do they call this guy? I can't remember the name now. Harry. Whatever. The meme, and it says, "Didn't want a 9 to 5 job, so I became an entrepreneur. Now I work 24/7." And that's what we're going to talk about today. John uh, is running this business, Utopia Grove, and we'll let him talk about it here in just a minute. But entrepreneurship. But before we talk about that, I want to show you this quick thing I found the other day or yesterday. They've got this little robot thing that they're going to swallow, and they can use magnets, and it will go directly in your bloodstream, kind of like the Magic School Bus. If you ever watched that TV show,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
and it will solve, help you with your health. And I posted about this on Facebook years ago. I'm like, why don't they make a tablet or something you could swallow that even if it was just a camera or something, which I think they have now.
Hmm.
And I got so much hate. And I tried to go back in my Facebook feed, but it was like 10 years ago. I got so much hate how no one will do this or anything like that. And here it is.
There it is.
All right, John. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Utopia Grove, your business, all that?
So my name is John. I've had my own business now for 5 or 6 years. Originally, I started off as a Bitcoin mining farm, and as the market conditions changed and my life um, progressed, I pivoted away from Bitcoin, and now I run a additive manufacturing facility and focusing on 3D printing, 3D scanning, engineering, uh, both direct to retail sales and business to business sales.
Okay, that's a whole lot of things that we can try to cover. So, why the name Utopia Grove?
That came from my wife. And as we were brainstorming on what we should name our company, and uh, I didn't want people to know what I was doing in my building. And so I wanted a name that was more inconspicuous, and people would just see that and be like, okay, I don't know what John Holdings is, or what they do there. So we came up with Utopia Grove, and the thought process behind that was all of the servers in my racks reminded her of an orchard or a forest when all the trees planted in a row.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, it's nice when I'm there and it's fun working there. So let's go with Utopia. And then the grove came from all the machines being in a row like an orchard.
Oh, cool. I guess I never knew that.
Yeah.
So that's neat. And I did back in the day get to tour your Bitcoin mining facility and all of that. And I think you were more focused on the Ethereum side of the house, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so kind of what made you stop there was the market conditions and the fact that they don't do that anymore.
You can't mine ETH anymore. No, no. And if we're getting more technical, I had 500 or 600 GPUs.
Mhm.
I topped out at 110 kilowatts. Um, that equates to 250,000 BTUs of heat,
Mhm.
and I produced that 24/7.
Yeah, and I think I noticed when I drove by your shop the other day that the big fan's gone and all that. So
It's I still have them installed on the intake and the exhaust. All my spares are gone, and they are sealed up shut.
okay.
Trying to retain the heat now instead of get rid of it.
So so back to the 3D printing engineering side of the house. So tell me what your background is, where you came from. Are you originally from Spencer? That kind of stuff.
I moved to Spencer 12 years ago, and I started working for a company south of town. I was doing sales engineering. I would travel the Midwest, talk to different ag uh, businesses, and try to sell the equipment that way. Uh, After that, I pivoted more into the manufacturing side of of industry,
Mhm.
and I did hydraulic cylinders, and then I also did office furniture after that.
Okay.
hmm
Nice. And then, so what brought you to Spencer? Anything in particular?
I didn't have a job, and
Okay.
I was in a rough spot, and I was very grateful for being able to land the job I did.
Okay.
Uh, and it worked out well. I like this area.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just needed some income in my life at
Sure.
that time, and poor newlywed, and didn't have much to my name. So here we are.
Well, I mean, we always hear when you read social media or talk to people at the colleges and all of that, they often say, well, there's a brain drain in Iowa. People aren't coming back. People aren't moving here, but they don't focus on a lot of times when people are coming back and what we're doing right there. And so I think it's always important to kind of pinpoint that. You like the area. Um, there's stuff to do. I mean, obviously we live 20 minutes from a vacation area, so
Mhm.
all of that. Yeah. So tell me more about, I guess, what the day in the life of you is now.
So I am a recent entrepreneur.
Mhm.
I quit my full-time engineering job about a month ago, and uh, I'm full tilt into it now. I got to say the biggest difference for me personally is my mental health,
Mm.
and being able to drop my kids off at school every day and be there if we have doctor's appointments and not have to go, may I please be excused to go take my kid to the doctor.
Sure.
That to me is the biggest change. Um, but for the day in the life of John running Utopia Grove, it's take the kids to school, come back home to my office, do some computer work. Usually it's either programming machines or sending invoices, following up on quotes, the accounting sales side of things. And then after that, I'll go to my shop, change all the plates, fix whatever broke in the middle of the night, or whatever mistake that I made when I programmed it. Lunch, and then either more shop. It's a mix up in the afternoons.
Sure.
Like today, I'm here talking to you.
Right.
So
Right.
the other day I did Christmas lights. So
What was the let's say like the final push to make it so I don't want to work for somebody else anymore and I want to move ahead and kind of I want to run my own thing and control my own destiny.
yeah, so that was definitely when we did our biggest show of the year at the at the Clay County Fair.
Mhm.
It's one of the biggest fairs in the country. Gets roughly 400,000 people.
Okay.
The week, it's a 10-day fair, and during that 10 days, I generated 20% of my engineering salary
20% in 9 days.
in 9 days. On top of that, I got multiple business to business leads.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I was taking PTO
Mhm.
from my full-time job to go and try to get a sales call
Okay.
or like meet with them and or deliver parts or all the other things that seem small at the time, but they all add up and they all require your attention.
Okay.
Um, that was the push. That's what put me over the edge.
Sure. Sure.
And if I think I would probably still be working my 9 to 5 if I did not have that big of an event all at once.
Okay.
So it was really good for me, not only to set me up financially to where okay, I got a decent cushion now.
Yep.
Like, even if I don't make any sales for the next 6 months, I'm still okay.
Mhm.
And worst case scenario, I just go find another job.
Sure. Sure.
So that was my calculated risk.
Mhm.
And
And I think what you just said, you just hit it. For anybody listening out there that is thinking that they maybe want to start their own thing, run their own business, I can always just get another job,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. And that was Gary V came across my feed at one point, and he said that, and it stuck with me
Mhm.
more than it probably should have. But oh yeah, this what I'm doing now isn't what I have to do the rest of my life.
Yep.
I can I can just go find somewhere else to get income. And I think even that mantra or that mindset has carried over into how I view my current situation. Um, whether I'm making toys for kids or uh, ag spray drones
Mhm.
or branded tiny toilets. It's all of those things are within my capabilities, and they are all very different
Oh
markets
yeah, yeah, right.
and facets of generating income.
I think I saw yesterday you had a reel or whatever, and it was a dumpster with dice.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a remix or a remake of a game that's been out for a while, and I put my own spin on it,
Mhm.
and I made every I I took models and modified them to fit what I needed, and um, I have my own game. So, and it's right now we're in late November, early December, and it's been a big hit.
Sure.
And people like it when you have something original to offer them.
Oh yeah, right.
And
Mhm.
it's not the same old. I'm going to play checkers
Mhm.
or Monopoly.
Mhm.
Like, okay, let's do something different this time.
Well, and I know I stopped over at your booth a couple of times at the fair in town here, and the amount of kids that were intrigued and watching their own thing that they were going to buy from you,
Mm-hmm.
and they were watching it print,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just loving it. And I'll admit, the first time I saw a 3D printer in action, it was amazing. You took this thing that was on the computer, and all of a sudden it's real.
Yeah.
But I mean, the look in that kid's eyes, as I know he had been back multiple times to see this thing take shape and take
Uh-huh.
life is pretty cool. I mean, it's a neat. I think.
I think that was a big selling point, and one of the reasons why I did so well at that event
Mhm.
was because I brought an entire rack of printers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, okay, here's one on the table. You can kind of see it working a little bit. No, they were all going
Mhm.
and shaking the rack with all their movements. And it was, it's part of the entertainment and
Right.
it's part of the selling experience. Cause just like I think it would be fascinating to see a gallon of milk be pulled from the cow,
Mhm.
and know that, oh sweet, that's mine. I'm going to take that home.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think the customers find uh, value in seeing what they buy be created.
Right. 100%. Well, if there's one thing I'm a sucker for, it's a tour of a factory.
Yeah.
A few years ago I got to go up to Agco
Mhm.
and tour the factory there, and it's a super awesome tour, super neat to see all the stuff. So same idea, you get the tour of how your product's made.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else about the fair. I didn't. Are you planning on doing any more fairs other than Spencer?
I think it will be worth my while to put in that effort and make that happen.
Mhm.
Even if the retail sales direct to customer are not as good as what I experience here in Spencer. The amount of sales leads that I get from every call
Mhm.
or every show, whether it's a craft show that is just about knitting,
Yep.
like someone's gonna walk by and be like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that," and be like, "Yeah, I can do a lot of stuff." The it, it's just another way to get in front of people, and more times than not, it's worth your time.
Right. So tell me about the design process. A person has an idea and they want it built. What's the thought process? How does that go down?
So usually it's my top 5 questions that I start the conversation with is how many do you want? When do you need it by? Tell me the use case.
Mhm.
Is this indoor? Is this outdoor? Is it just for cosmetics? Is it like a functional part? That sort of thing. Um, and then I go from there by just keep asking questions until I feel like I know exactly what they want.
Mhm.
Uh, that'll bring me into my first show Utopia that
All
I
right.
brought. This is the end cap for a condominium in South Padre, Texas,
Okay.
right on the ocean.
Mhm.
Very saltwater, mist.
Right.
It everything that they have deteriorates very quickly. This is a cast metal end piece to a handrail for
Mhm.
a staircase. Uh, they came to me and said, "Hey, can you just copy this and give me 20 of them and just make sure that it's corrosive resistant.
Mm-hmm.
It won't fade in the sun. We don't want people to burn their hands. No sharp edges." I looked at that and I said, "Yeah, I can do that." Same questions: what color do you want? When do you need it by? Ended up going with the black ASA polymer, and I think I'll deliver it here this weekend.
No, cool.
So how do? And the next question is, okay, well, how do you do that? Right.
Right.
I this shape is a little bit different in the fact that there's a lot of curves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of geometry here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just hold that up to the camera here. But there's a it's not a crazy part, but there's enough going on there that it would take you a couple hours to model that up.
Yep.
All I do is I go into my office, I put it on my turntable with a whole bunch of laser markers, and then I 3D scan that.
Okay.
And then it's a 1-to-1 copy of it.
Okay.
And from there, I'll just send it to the printers, load up the build plate, and then I'm done. And
yeah, there may be
5
some
hours.
cleanup work, but not a lot. I mean,
It's pretty straightforward. I invested in good equipment,
right.
in the fact that I'm like 0.02 plus or minus 0.02 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Americans in the audience, that's like
How many is that in freedom units,
yeah,
John?
freedom units is like 1 to 3 thousandths of an inch.
Okay. Yeah.
And a piece of paper is typically 7 thousandths of an inch.
Right. So it's indistinguishable.
It's very, very accurate. In fact, this has like a texture feel from when they cast it. I will be able to print the texture.
Okay.
If I take a sticker and that's the laser marker and I'll put it on there and I scan it and I don't like remove the stickers feature or whatever, you will see that ridge, and when I print it, you will see the circle
Okay.
on there.
So on the inside of say a part like this, will you print Utopia Grove with your phone number or anything like that?
That's a good idea. I think I will.
Okay.
So thanks for that one. Yeah.
I just think, that I got this box that got delivered with 20 of them in it. Now the guy that ordered them from you quit.
Yeah.
And where the heck do I get these?
Yeah.
You flip the box open, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you're welcome.
Well, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Teamwork.
Well, what else do you have to show and explain? I like a good show and tell.
This is another example of like practicing when and mainly because my son was like, "I like this dog. Can I have another one?" So,
Yep.
So I took this dog
Yep.
off his dresser, and then I printed the black one.
Okay.
And I didn't do any cleanup to it. All I did was put it on my turntable and I scanned it.
Yep.
And then hit print.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a very convenient way to take an organic model and bring it into the digital world with minimal effort.
Yeah.
I've done everything from model train cars that people have an incomplete set with.
Sure.
And they want to finish their set or it was actually a 1953 exploding rail train car. And so what this model train did was it would go around the track, hit a solenoid, fire a mousetrap in the middle of it, and all the pieces would go everywhere.
Right.
And it would like explode. It was this neat little 50s, model train. Well, he had one complete set. And he was missing 2 of the back ends of the front and back of this train car. He goes on eBay to buy a replacement. It's $300. I was like, I can definitely help you. If you have a good one, I can copy it. And so I ended up scanning it. I think I made him like 7 for 1/3 of the cost that it would for him just to go buy one from eBay.
Sure. And do you think that he turns around and he sells them or could sell them as replicas on eBay?
So I didn't follow up with that customer, but that's what his plan was. He said, "Well, I'm just going to go and sell half of them."
Yep.
And then I get this thing for free.
Yep.
And so he was. I didn't want to go after that market. That was all him. I'm not.
I mean, the model train guys usually are pretty obsessive.
Yes.
They like the model trains. They know all about the model trains. Like even the part that you make, is very specific because that's the way model train guys are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's neat. So what types of material do you print in? Like tell 'em.
So the main filaments that I use on main polymers is PLA for anything that is like for entertainment value.
Okay,
Okay, the kids' toys,
sure.
right? Wall decorations.
Hmm.
I'm working on an acoustic panel that's in the shape of a coral reef, and uh, all of those things, they don't have any stress.
Sure.
They're just there for fun.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's like simple tools that I know is not going to experience a whole lot of stress. I'll just go with PLA.
Sure.
If it's any sort of moderate heat uh, exposure, I'll switch to either a PETG
Hmm.
or an ABS. And then I really like printing with ASA.
Okay, I never heard of ASA until now.
Yeah, so ASA is a variant of ABS, and the molecules are slightly different. I think they added an extra compound, and I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Sure.
But the biggest benefit that you get with ASA
Mhm.
is it's UV resistant.
Sure.
So if you put it outside,
Mhm.
it will never fade, it will never crack
Okay.
or deteriorate. PLA, it will go outside. And I've had, this part on my patio table to fix my umbrella
Mhm.
for like 4 years, and it's out of PLA.
Sure.
But there will be a point when it will get brittle
Mhm.
and crack
Mhm.
and fail under the stress of the environment.
Sure.
So for ASA is more of the big brother, do anything type of thing.
Mhm.
PLA is more of the more generic, easy to print. It's definitely more economical,
Okay.
not only for the material, but also for the machine that's
Right.
required to print it.
Because I'm assuming it has to get really, really hot compared to PLA.
Right.
And obviously that's harder on everything.
Right.
And it's probably more prone to failure too when you're printing that hot, I'm assuming. Or-
Not so much prone to failure. You do have to just take different precautions,
Mhm.
and your workflow changes a little bit.
Mhm.
But you have to definitely have like an enclosed printer.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be a heated enclosure, but that definitely helps.
Mhm.
And PLA doesn't need any of that.
Sure.
You can print it on an open bed slinger.
Sure. I printed the PLA at home on an open bed, and it works well. I tried PETG, and usually if I get to another layer or something, that's when it starts to fail usually. So I've had a few successful prints, but not a lot with the PETG stuff. So
Sure.
what about carbon? I've seen carbon fiber. I've seen wood filament. I've seen metal type filament.
So what I do have those in stock, like at my warehouse. I don't lean on those heavily. There's kind of a misconception with carbon fiber
Mhm.
and the fact that, okay, they put chopped carbon fiber on it, it's indestructible.
Mhm.
Okay, the chopped carbon fiber does add some extra rigidity, but it's not the same as a single strand fiber.
Mhm.
There's some $20,000 printers out there that will do a single strand carbon fiber, and those are like way strong. Like they are super industrial. You can print gears, and they're like 80-90% of the strength of aluminum.
Okay.
And a lot of times they mix those with nylon blends, either PA6 or PA12.
Mhm.
Those and that's where you get some serious strength.
Sure.
Now, nylon and those PA6 and PA12s with chopped fiber are very strong, but it's not. I don't think it's the end all be all.
Mhm.
And I think there's a lot of data out there that shows that, okay, this is good, but it's not as good as it could be
Mhm.
with the technology that's out there.
Okay. Cool. I
Yeah.
saw one the other day. It's not available yet. I don't know if I maybe sent it to you. It was actually a steel printer.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but they were at a trade show, and the thing literally, I don't know if it melted the steel or how it worked.
Okay. So That is most likely an SLS printer.
Okay.
Center laser something. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's SLS, which is you have a bed of metal powder.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
can do,
that's what. Yep.
yep,
Okay.
and you can do like 316 stainless. You can do titanium.
Mm-hmm.
You can do aluminum. There's multiple different, but it's a very very fine powder,
Mm-hmm.
almost a dust. And the laser head will go through and do a layer. Then a brush will come and sweep the table,
Mm-hmm.
put a new layer of powder on. The laser will go through everything and basically fuse and melt in that one spot.
Okay.
By the time you're all done, you have a solid cube of powder, and then you take it and you break that powder off, and inside is your melted together metal.
Okay.
And that's how you can do like some super crazy intercoolers or some really awesome like aerospace engineering parts. And then after you're done sintering it and you clean it all up, you typically like sandblast it or glass bead it, clean it up, get the flash off, and then you put it into an oven and you bake it, and it solidifies that print to its full strength.
It almost sounds like a sand mold or something like that. It's just like an opposite of a sand mold. Or,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And the advantages that you get with additive manufacturing is that I only have a minimum order of one.
Right. Right.
Right. Now the price point is different from 1 to 1,500.
Of course.
Which makes sense. But you don't have any of the risk that comes with getting all of the tooling in place to get what you want.
Right. Yeah. You have either way, you're going to have the engineering fee, whether you have somebody design the injection mold or not. Somebody's got to design it. Then you got to probably ship that off to China to get them to actually make the injection mold. So you're talking about American-made products on Chinese base,
foreign soil,
on injection base. I mean, so in the end, China or the country will get the design that you sent over, and to think that they don't keep it and use it for themselves is crazy, because they do.
Right. Yes.
And so it's an American product designed and made on American soil. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the quantity requirements that you would have at a normal manufacturing plant that's in the United States of whatever. So
there's like 4 huge advantages that you get with additive versus injection molding. The one of them is that we just talked about was that, you get to retain control of everything. But another one is, okay, this is your design. You get it out in the market. You hear customer feedback and say, I don't know, these antennas are a little small.
Yeah.
We need them a little bit bigger. Or worst case, you need a little bit smaller to for whatever thing that you have to interfere. Well, it's pretty hard to add material back to a die.
Yeah.
It's really easy for me to add material on my slicing software.
For sure. It makes it so they can be more nimble in what they're building.
And we can iterate so fast. And if you want to do 6 orders that are all different and try 6 different ways all at once, that's fine by me.
Yep.
All I need is the CAD file.
So 3D printing at scale, obviously you have to grow more yet, but 3D printing at scale for products like this, for 1,500 of them, I mean, that's printers running around. I mean, making that part whole, before you say you put the man hours in to put the bolts through, how long does a part like that take to print?
I could do this in 8 hours.
8 hours. So one part in 8 hours.
Yep. One machine for 8 hours.
And so, I mean, to scale to 1,500, that's quite a few hours.
When you do the math, it's not, because I don't have to sit there and watch it print.
Well,
if you are smart about it and you set yourself up for success, you can do 24-hour printing.
Right. So, correct. And I've seen on the market too, belt fed printers. I don't know if you know those or not, but they can send the parts through, and as the parts come through to the end, they fall off into a box. I don't know anything about them.
So I've seen those. Those have not been as popular as the auto bed, either auto bed clearing or auto bed changing.
Sure.
And so depending on your material and depending on your part, there's a lot of variables here. But you can actually write specific G code that will print a part, turn off the bed. The part will cool. It releases from the bed. then the tool head just comes and knocks it over
Okay.
and knocks it off the plate,
Sure.
and it does a sweep. It's all good. It's clear. And then it'll go through and make another one.
Right.
And then it's just on repeat.
Sure.
They just have a box in front of the printer, and it's just catching parts.
And G code is what the printer uses to know height, width, and
It's the machine instructions that it knows what to do.
okay. Yeah. Where the print head has to be, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how the bed moves, any of that kind of stuff. Okay. Very, very interesting to be able to print large parts like that. So
here's my next one. Going back to the Bitcoin roots.
yeah, yeah, about Bitcoin mining, but heat has to be, you have to remove it basically, and it's a hard thing to remove because the miners, I mean, that's their byproduct.
Right.
Everything they make is
Right.
heat, and the thing is that it besides the fact it's hot, the miners start to fail in heat as well. So so first thing they'll do is downscale, so they'll run slower.
Yeah, down clock.
Yeah, down clock, and then after that they fail. And so you have to have a person on site that's restarting and all of that. It's time consuming when the stuff's like that in mining.
Okay, I got two more.
All right.
We're on the show and tell. So we talked about SLS printing. At the beginning, we were talking about FDM printing.
Okay.
And FDM is what people typically think of when they're printing. But this was made on an SLA printer.
Okay.
And basically, this is resin printed. And this is a fishing lure mold. It is so detailed.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that I've ever held a resin print, but I don't know that I would know if I've ever held a resin print.
Sure,
because if you would tell me that, it looks like a injection molded piece of plastic.
Yeah.
It really does. I can't tell the difference. It's solid. It's heavy. I mean, it's a good. It makes a good print. So do you have resin printers?
I have a few.
Okay.
It's not something that I don't enjoy it.
Okay.
But there's certain applications that just require it.
Sure.
Certain industries require it.
Okay.
Anything with super high detail, where I want this as realistic of a dog as I can get, or an exact copy of this model. I want it to match.
Sure.
And for those type of customers, I'll go resin.
Okay.
And especially the smaller, intricate parts. A lot of resin printers are used for Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, or like chess pieces or game pieces and that sort of thing, or really intricate masks. But I typically use it for both the intricacy, but also for the properties of the material.
Sure.
Because there's no way I can get something that is good up to 420 degrees on an FDM printer.
Right,
because that means I have to print it at like 500. And I don't have a $20,000 printer to print like peak.
Right.
And so there's disadvantages and advantages to each one.
So. That's neat. I don't know that I've ever seen one, so that's cool.
Okay, I got last one. Empty. This is the start of a prototype. This is one of my prototypes for the Coast Guard.
Okay.
And this is I'm working with the Coast Guard and some law enforcement agencies in Indiana with this. This is a copy of a Glock 17.
Okay.
And it's the full version. This one is the instructor said, I want a glow in the dark version. So I was like, yeah, let's do glow in the dark. That sounds fun. But it's got the magazine release. The slide doesn't rack on this one. And then the one that they're currently testing for the Coast Guard has a functional trigger. You pull the trigger, shoots a laser pointer out the front.
Cool.
And it's got a selector switch on the back where like the full auto switch would be. And then that either makes it so that when you pull the trigger, it's laser only, or you can have an audible beep.
Okay.
So the advantages that you get with this is their current training pistols, like the blue rubbery ones that they always get, they don't fit in their holster with their standard issue light that the MPs use. And so now they have a pistol that they can mount their own equipment to. It's the one I did was bright green. They knew it was a training pistol. it fit in their holster, so they could, practice draw and practice weapon retention. And then the biggest one was when they did their video simulations.
Mhm.
So he was telling me what they had to do for their video simulations is that, they would go through and, okay, now it's time to take care of a threat. They hold up their service pistol and they go bang bang. Nothing makes you feel more of a doofus than yelling bang bang at a computer screen. You're in a training environment, and
Right.
you're already, it doesn't feel 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real. Yeah.
No. And so now they have a tool that they can use. It has a really good trigger feel. I put a decent switch in there. Instead of the instructor guessing about where they're aiming at, are they hitting this hostage that's being held up, or are they shooting the plant that's in the corner? With the laser pointer camera at the front, it's just another added benefit that the instructor could use to further train the MPs of the Coast Guard.
Sure.
It was a fun project.
Yeah.
We're still working through. Haven't finalized all the details. But it's a way to make a real world difference.
Okay.
And it's a fun passion project.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's neat. Yeah. And then hyper realistic.
Yeah.
Except for the color.
I did the first one in black, and I pulled that off the plate, and I thought, yeah, that one's going in the
garbage. So I think, I guess, let me ask you a few more questions. We went through the show and tell. That was really cool. So why should somebody locally or even not locally come and work with you and in your company? Like, what's the difference between local or hiring some engineer off Fiverr that's not located in the US? And
I can guarantee you that I will beat anybody's quality of work, especially for the price point.
Okay.
And my responsiveness and attention to detail, I think, puts me above my competition.
Okay.
If someone comes to me and says, they tell me what they want, and I deliver their product, according to their request. If they're not happy with it and it doesn't work for them, like I'm gonna fix it and make it right for them.
Sure.
I don't want to leave people with a disdain for 3D printing or additive manufacturing. And in fact, that is one of my biggest struggles, is that when people come, or when I tell people what I do or how I make it, oh, that's just cheap China crap, or that's going to break in a month, or like after my kid plays with it for a little bit. And like, I take pride in what I do.
Yep.
And while I don't think anything is indestructible, I can get pretty darn close. So it's knowing the application and having that one-on-one conversation with the customer to know what their needs are and the way that I can best meet those needs while being as economical as I can.
Sure.
Because I know how, being a business owner myself, I know how it can be to operate a business. And there are expenses. There's never a shortage of expenses. And it's being there to help mitigate those expenses.
Sure.
Spend money to save money.
Yeah, right.
Type of thing.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
You're buying these shrouds, but you're going to save money on electricity overall because you're more efficient.
Less replacing cards because they're overheating.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Or you're going to come with me and, I might be $13 for that green part, and it might be $3 if you went with the injection mold. But now I save you all that cash flow.
Yeah,
now you don't have to spend $150,000.
Yeah, right.
You can go spend that on advertising so we can sell more drones.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a point in scale where an injection mold makes sense versus?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've ran the numbers. In fact, I made a whole calculator and shared it with a couple customers. And the fact it's a graph. Okay. And there is a break-even line. And usually, depending on the part, but most of the time it's around that 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 parts.
That's a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to figure that number out over the life of the die. But
sure, because the dies don't last forever either.
They don't last forever, but you should know, okay, this die is going to last, well, I'm going to guess 5-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I think I will make 50,000 parts in 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
If you think you will, you should buy the die.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only asterisk I'll add to that is, do you think you're ever going to change?
Well, that's the thing is, if you're going to make 50,000 parts, they better be all exactly
They're
the
all
same.
the same.
Yep.
You don't get to change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
every time you change something on a die, it's at least 5,000, more like 20.
Right. Right.
Because you're wire EDMing, you're getting tool steel in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of, you're paying for that specialized labor that's not prevalent in the market.
Sure.
And so it's an educated guess
Mm-hmm.
from a business owner
Mm-hmm.
to say, I think I'm going to do this, and I don't see it changing. I'm going to go with the die.
What's the turnaround time for somebody to design a die? I'm going to say print it, but that's the wrong thing. Make the die,
Machine it, yeah.
and then get it sent to the factory that you've decided to do the injection molding. Well, like basically, if a die was going to be is from start to I have my first product rolling off the line, what kind of time are you talking about?
I'm going to guess 6 months.
6 months. Okay. So the person that came and wanted the spray drone part,
Mm-hmm.
they gave it to you. You've got a way to make it large and put it together.
Mm-hmm.
What's it from your design time down to the first part?
I don't know. Well, they gave it to me on Thursday, and I delivered parts on Monday. So, and that's only because I took like Sunday and half of Saturday off.
Right. So fast.
Very.
From conception to actual product being able to be put on a drone. It's
super fast.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, when you think about it on a per part basis,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, 8 hours. That seems like a long time. Well, look at the bigger picture.
Right.
We're months ahead of the normal production process.
Then that's what I'm getting at here is the 6 months to just get the die made into the first part. I mean, you're light years ahead of that process, and you can know now that this part is right or wrong, or we want to make these adjustments, or we want to get it in the hands of 3 people to test.
Right.
And now I can make these changes.
Yeah.
And I can probably still do it faster than the first die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's some ways you can kind of fiddle or, you know, tweak that injection mold part, but it's not going to be like what you're making
Sure.
and selling to the public.
Sure.
If you go with additive manufacturing and you go with 3D printing at scale, you can product test what they would actually get.
Mhm.
And you can give 3 different people 3 different versions
Mhm.
and get feedback on each one. There's a lot of advantages,
Yeah.
in my opinion, from being able to iterate so fast.
So what else am I missing? What else should I have asked you here?
Okay, so it's quick, right? But the one thing that we didn't say out loud and that we both assumed was that you have the CAD or the digital file.
Right.
You had the digital file to make the dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is for me as a one-man shop,
Mhm.
one-man engineer, salesperson, accountant,
Bathroom
and
cleaner.
bathroom cleaner. You got it. That's me. Now I say that with an asterisk. My wife does help me out.
Sure.
She's been killer. Super helpful. She's awesome at social media. Okay, back to the point. The part that takes long that nobody thinks about is getting that CAD file.
Right.
And getting that digital file, because to go through and design this part,
Mhm.
okay, good, you handed me the GPU and I know what size and I know what fan, but okay, there's a lot to go on here. This
Yeah.
is not a simple part. This is, you know, I probably have, I don't know, 6 hours
Mhm.
into this
Mhm.
with 2 or 3 iterations.
Right.
And people, the more complex the part,
Yep.
the more engineering time that you need.
Right. But even so, when you were going to do the injection mold or this,
You both had to design the part.
It was
You both had to design
still
part.
the probably the same amount of time.
Correct.
The advantage that the injection molder gets is they can make the bigger part in the mold. so they can make it all in one together and don't have to think about how to connect the two parts. Where
Oh, for
where you
sure.
that I mean
Yeah.
that might be an advantage for them, but I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a half hour worth of design time to figure out that I'm going to use these bolts and make these
Sure.
tabs and
I guess what I'm trying to relate to is the soccer mom that meets me at a craft show
mhm.
or some other or at the county
Yeah,
fair, and
yeah.
they say, "Hey, I really want a way to connect to this thing
Hmm.
and like do this project." And like, could you do that? Yeah, I can do that, but I just realized that it's not as easy or cheap as if I take an existing model and
Yeah,
just make it for you.
right, right.
Like now you have to pay for my time. And uh, if you can go to Walmart and buy it for $2,
Yeah.
like you should just go to Walmart and buy it for
I,
$2.
I'm laughing about this because I remember at the fair, my wife seeing some planter that you had
Uh,
made and then saying like, I got this one I get from Etsy or whatever,
uh-huh.
is that something that you think you could make? And,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can do that. Just give me the file and then I will make it for you.
I think that for if I was going to relate to it in IT, I would Thanksgiving time, so we're all going to be going and seeing
Uh,
relatives, and it's can you fix my computer? And it's like I don't really fix computers. That's not what I do. But
yes.
it's nice that you assume that I can do that.
Yeah. I'm a little bit above that.
So what else? You've got your notebooks. I don't know if we covered all of that or what I missed.
The one thing that I wrote down, well, I guess there's two here. So the one- going circling back to the beginning of our conversation, what our area and what brings people here
Hmm.
is that one advantage and disadvantage to living in a town of 10 to 15,000, right? And I'm sure you realize this with AMP. Uh, People don't always assume that they can get big city
Yeah.
results
Hmm.
from a small town company
Correct.
or a smaller company.
Hmm.
And just like it's difficult to convince people that uh, it's 3D printing, it's not going to be tough or it's not going to work well for me
Right.
or
Right.
it's junk, like it's convincing people that they don't have to go to Minneapolis or Des Moines or Sioux Falls to
Hmm.
like find good support to solve problems that they have every day.
Yep.
And uh, I think I'm starting to make some headway. I know that you sure have. Um, but I know that I see that as being a struggle.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
mean, you're 100% right. Mark Twain, and I don't remember the exact quote. He wrote something along the lines of, "An expert is someone from out of town who brings a briefcase." So kind of alluding to the fact that you can find the expert at home,
Hmm.
and they don't have to bring the briefcase
Yeah,
because they're just here.
yeah,
And I 100% agree with you. I've done work all over the place
uh-huh.
and been hired to do work for governments and everything else. And I live here in Spencer.
Yeah,
And same as you. I mean, you do world class work. I see these parts, and like, I don't even know where else I would go in the state to try to find them. And here they are sitting right here.
yeah,
So and I think it's important that people understand that. I think I don't know if it's a grocery store effect. Like I see you in the grocery store, so I don't think you probably know anything, right? But some guy that just lives the life of making parts like this, he's way smarter or something. I can't describe it, but it's one of those things where I see you every day, so it's just not possible that we have that kind of talent here in the community when we actually do.
Well, if you think about it this way, you don't have that talent,
Hmm.
and then you assume more times than not that people and the general public is like you.
Right. That's a good way.
And so if everybody's like me,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, so
Right.
nobody else does.
Right.
Well, I didn't. I went to school for I'm gonna say 5 years, and figured this out, and then I've been doing 3D printing for 7 years. So
Right.
well, there's a little bit of miles here that you probably don't have experience to.
Right, right. So you touch on a really good point, and that's part of the reason why we have this podcast. Is we know that when we take the podcast, strip it down to reels, strip it down to TikToks, when it's being uploaded in Spencer here, we're going to get more eyes that we wouldn't normally get. We've sent mailers to the whole town. and
It goes right in the garbage.
it goes right in the garbage. They still don't know who we are.
Right.
And so, trying to attempt different media like this, bringing people like you on that aren't just about all tech. It's
Right.
about entrepreneurship in the community. Like, look what our community can bring.
Right.
That's what we're here for.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I guess the only thing I have left, and I thought we'd, if you're all right with it, end on this one, is that the entrepreneurial mindset
Mhm.
and like, okay, you quit your job. Why did you do that? How did you get here? What's next? Right.
Right.
So, it, for me, it was a calculated risk.
Mhm.
It wasn't just, I'm tired of my job. I'm
Mhm.
just going to flip off my boss and walk out the door. Like, there was a plan here.
Mhm.
I put in a lot of hard work and a lot of hours to build my building, to build my business, to build my clientele, to know that, okay, there's enough there that I think I can make this work.
Mhm.
I'm not at 100% replacing my salary. It's not a 1-for-1 yet, but
Right.
I know that if I have more time to go out and get those sales,
Mhm.
to put in to do what I need to do just to maintain my building,
Mhm.
even that it will pay dividends.
Sure.
And where I'm at today.
Investing your time in your business, it pays the dividends,
Right.
pays back tenfold probably.
Right.
So if you were to say in 10 years and you were going to scale your business, what does Utopia Grove look like in 10 years at a decent growth rate, or a growth rate that seems sustainable to you? Will you have big CNC machines and making parts like that? Where do you see?
I don't see me going into CNC,
Mhm.
not mills or lathes, and there's a couple reasons why. The the price point to entry
Yep.
is pretty high.
Mhm.
The learning curve is high,
Mhm.
and when you make a mistake, it's really expensive.
Sure.
I know how to do it. I know how to program it. I know how to design for it. It's something I've done in the past. I just don't really want to do it that way.
Sure.
I see myself in 10 years expanding my existing 30 by 30 building to double or triple that.
Okay.
And then having like 100 or 200 printers.
And with a staff.
And yes, yeah, I wouldn't be able to maintain that all by myself, or,
Right.
or even with my spouse.
Mhm.
I would have 1 or 2 employees, and then ideally, I would like to have one full-time salesperson
Yep.
that could just go out and like talk to people
Mhm.
and pitch
Mhm.
and say, or have a little bit of an engineering background to say, what you're talking about.
Work the
and
fairs, that
work
kind
the
of thing.
fairs. Oh man, like go out and just be somewhat of a face of the company so that I can be in 2 places at once.
Right, for sure.
Right. I see if I say, am I going to expand in anything? I would do a complimentary service.
Mhm.
And so I would do like laser cutting
Okay.
or laser engraving.
Okay.
Something to where you want to put serial numbers on
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
And while I can print a serial number on there and it's always part of the plastic, it's very difficult to do like a QR code.
Right.
Or, a serial number where everyone's different.
Yeah, an incrementing number or something.
Yes,
It's
like-
part number.
And that would be very difficult to do because then I have to change the program every time
Correct.
I hit go.
And I think that's probably, in the future, that's something you're going to want, because you're going to have lot numbers.
Right.
Right. And so you're going to want to make sure that if you get a bad lot, which you would never do, but if you get a bad lot, you'd be able to recall that lot,
Right.
or at least know where they went.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I do anything, I would do like a laser engraving or laser marking,
Okay.
laser etching,
Sure.
sort of thing.
Sure. Okay. Really quick, one more tech thing. If you were to recommend 3 different types of 3D printers for home use, not so much maybe like your scale, what would you recommend? I'm thinking price points here. Like, I'm guessing the Dremel 3D printer is probably not the one you'd recommend. It's a $100 printer, but
Yeah.
it probably prints like a $100 printer.
Yeah. So I started out with a Creality Ender 3.
Hmm.
I would not recommend that one.
Okay.
That was, we'll just say I put in my dues. And it served its place in the industry. They are very prevalent. You can get them super cheap.
Mhm.
You can get them to print, and I've done it myself, but it's going to take some work.
Sure.
And you have to be patient with it. You will have to like watch it, and it won't be perfect. And so I guess that's where I started. I run almost entirely Bamboo Labs.
Okay.
My 9-year-old son programs some of my printers. I have one of them in my basement just for like doing quick stuff or home stuff, or
Sure.
if he wants something made, right? So the cheapest price point for Bamboo Labs is the A1 Mini, and it's a small printer, but you could do this or maybe this. I don't know. That size might be pushing it, but it's impressive what you can fit on there. But that's like $300.
Okay.
$350.
And probably that something like that was what you would consider entry level.
Yeah, and I almost because their ecosystem is you don't even need a computer. You can print from your phone.
Okay.
You can just go on their app and you're like, oh, that one looks cool. And you hit go. And you don't need to be technical or know the material. And other people can do it for you. I have, models on, I think I put this one on there, last week.
Sure.
So where, oh, that's a cool plug. I think I'm going to make it. So then you throw whatever color you want your plug and hit go.
Okay.
All from your phone. And it does all the thinking for you. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there's, Bamboo Labs has a lot upper echelon or flagship printers, but most people don't need that.
Okay.
Any of the A series from Bamboo Labs you can't go wrong.
Okay.
The other manufacturer which I know that you have is Prusa. Prusa has been around for a long time. Joseph Prusa is, he's an OG in the 3D printing world.
Okay.
He's still innovating and creating new printing styles and printing machines. But what do you have? The MK3?
MK3S.
MK3S.
Or I don't know exactly. Yeah.
So Prusa machines, they are a little bit slower, but they still make phenomenal parts. I myself have never ran one. I went from the cheapest $100 Ender 3 to the X1 from Bamboo Labs. So I went from a $100 machine to a $1,500 machine. So there's a little bit of a asterisk there, but those two would probably be what I think most people would offer.
Okay.
There's a lot of manufacturers out there, and I guess if you're in the market for buying one, I would recommend Bamboo Labs. If you don't want to go Bamboo, I would just encourage you to read a lot of reviews and see what other people have said about whatever you're looking at.
Sure. Well,
so that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, sounds good. Well, I appreciate you coming in, having a chat, talking about your business, talking about Spencer, showing off some parts. That was fun, and I enjoy that a lot. So, hope to see you again and have you on, and hope for great things in the future here.
If anybody needs any engineering support or 3D scanning or 5,000 widgets, we can make that happen. You can find more info at utopiagrove.com, or you can send us an email at info@utopiagrove.com.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks, John.